Sensation is a biological process where sensory receptors pick up physical energy such as light, sound waves, or chemical molecules and convert them into neural signals sent to the brain. Perception is the process of organizing, interpreting, and making sense of sensory information. The two processes work together to understand and interpret the world around us. Perception occurs through a multi step process. First, we detect external stimuli in the environment that catches our attention. In this process, our selective attention enables us to concentrate on the relevant stimuli while filtering the distractions to prevent a sensory overload. Our sensory receptors then transduce these raw signals into neural impulses that brain can interpret. After transduction, these signals must travel through the nervous system to reach the appropriate brain regions for processing. The process of transporting these signals to the nervous system is known as transmission. When these impulses reach the brain, the signals undergo coding, where signals are organized into meaningful patterns to prompt recognition or assist interpretation in the brain. For instance, coding helps the brain distinguish whether what you have seen is a shark or a dolphin. The brain needs to synchronize all these signals to develop a coherent understanding of the situation. This is done in two ways: top-down processing and bottom-up processing. In top-down processing, perception is influenced by prior knowledge, expectations, and experiences, shaping how we interpret sensory input. In other words, the brain uses what it already knows to interpret and organize incoming information, while bottom-up processing starts with the sensory input and the brain builds an understanding from raw data. In all, perception is an active, dynamic process where the brain organizes, interprets, and responds to sensory information. It combines raw sensory data with prior knowledge to create our experience of the world. Psychophysics is a branch of psychology that studies the relationship between physical stimuli like light, sound, or pressure and our perception of them. Key concepts in psychophysics include absolute threshold, which describes the minimum intensity a stimulus required for it to be detected 50% of the time; difference threshold, that describes the smallest difference in stimulation that a person can detect 50% of the time. To measure these sensory thresholds, two main techniques are used, namely method of limits, where the experimental controls the stimulus intensity, and the method of adjustment, where the participant actively adjusts the stimulus intensity themselves until they can detect a difference. Psychophysics bridges the gap between physical world and our subjective experiences, providing a scientific framework for understanding